you know how many transgender Americans have been mass shooters over the last 10 years?
Too many.
Okay, now 5 is a lot, right? I'm gonna give you some credit. Do you know how many mass shooters there have been in America over the last 10 years?
Counting or not counting gang violence?
Great.
Okay, so something happened that where I saw a video that freaked me out a little bit. It was of a well-known right-wing type of politician figure that has extreme views. He strikes me as a person that is unapologetic about a lot of his beliefs and whatnot. Now, I'm not the type of person who is in politics like that. I would see views on one side and I would see views on the other side, and I can see where both people are coming from. That is the type of person I am. So I don't necessarily get involved in like extreme things. This person I'm talking about, he actually got unalived, and the way it happened, it kind of put me on pause. I've seen some messed up things in my life, but it's just the way he actually died and how quick it was. He was at a rally, not a rally or like an event, and he does these prove me wrong type of videos. So he would have a student or anybody else come up and argue against the point that he's making. The points that he usually makes are very extreme, talking about like abortion. What else does he talk about? Immigration. You know, things that are very traditionally right, very extreme right. And then you would have students and other people come up and basically argue his points as to why he is wrong. If you haven't watched the video, like the full unedited video, I highly recommend you against it. It's very graphic, it's very gruesome. And if you are not a person with a very heavy stomach or like strong stomach, it's not good for you. So, but I could describe some parts of it. This is kind of a content warning for you if you are interested, if you don't want to watch the full video. Essentially, he was at the rally. A person was talking about transgender persons, and he was arguing there was a relation between gun violence and transgender people. The person posing the question asked him something. He responded. He then the person asking the question again asked another, and he responded, but he didn't get to finish his sentence, and that's where the shots came in. It was bad. What disturbed me and like made me take a step back was the fact that I read some of the comments and people are actually celebrating. In fact, there are some videos of people on the left celebrating the man's death. Now, I'm of the opinion that if you have an opinion, and your opinion contradicts my belief systems, I do not think you deserve to die because you believe or have a different opinion from me. There are exceptions, okay? But I do not believe he deserved to die, especially in that gruesome, the way he did. It was very bad. Again, the people, I believe that anybody who could watch that video and say that he actually deserved to go out like that is a little bit off to me. Now, I'm not telling you how to feel or how you should perceive a certain person. Maybe the way he speaks is triggers some form of trauma because of your lived experience, and you don't like the person. But you can hate him, you can dislike him to his core, but I do not believe he deserved to go out like that. And that's what kind of threw me off. I was supposed to go do something today, but I watched that video and I kind of got disappointed. You know, this is why I'm making this video, to like kind of vent, because although he has had his belief, and I'm not defending any of the things that he's saying, his comments on immigration, abortion, like I'm an immigrant, right? I don't support any of the things that he's saying. I heard some of the speeches that he's saying, especially against gun laws, like something along the lines, I'm paraphrasing here, but something along the lines of a few people die per year due to gun violence than have our God-given right to protect ourselves, or something along those lines, which is crazy. And it's also ironic that he died the same way that he was defending, which is due to gun violence. I don't think we've ever had a political assassination in a long time. I think the last time we had something like this was in the 60s. But this thing used to happen a lot back then. And I think it kind of damages the whole idea of democracy and freedom of speech. But the words freedom of speech to some people implies that you can say whatever you want with zero consequences, which is not the case most of the time. The consequences is people often opposing what you say, but you have the right to do or say those things if you so please. But the other part is that people also have the freedom to actually oppose your ideals. He wasn't a perfect person. He's just a man with like beliefs. But what I guess a sort of benefit of a person like him existing is that you would get young people with their strong ideals going up and challenging him on a lot of the things. And I believe some of the debates he actually lost. People on the left, the young people on the left, who were able to go up and talk to him, that was the whole purpose of the event in the first place, so that we can basically create a space where we can have dialogue about a lot of these things, right? But who would want to have a dialogue when there's a risk of a person who disagrees with me killing me because they don't believe in what I believe? And I believe that's probably the biggest tragedy here. For the people who do not believe that he deserves sympathy, because sympathy or empathy, I'm not mad at you at all, because he said as much, that empathy is not a real thing. It's a social construct. I'm more concerned with the fact that a man or a person had his ideals and his life was taken for those ideals. I don't think killing him was the answer. I think whatever the event was the answer to debate and basically debunk all of the things that he was saying. Because if this option basically becomes a part of the table, you're going to see a lot of back and forth. You're going to see a lot of maybe more assassinations than we ever seen in like a long time. And there will be no more talking it out or democracy, because one side hurt the other, and they're gonna remember that. What I don't want to come out of this is retaliation, but I highly doubt that will be the case. It seems like people are just done talking, and people like political streamers like Hassan and others are probably stepping down because sometimes it's not worth your life to share your opinion sometimes, but it's a tough thing because this is your career, this is your job, this is what you do for a living, and some cases you actually might enjoy it. But this is just an unfortunate thing. You know, I especially feel bad for the children that he left behind. And yeah. So that might be an unpopular opinion, that I didn't like the way he went out. Regardless if he was basically the most disgusting, vile, I don't think you had the right, unless he was physically hurting another person, you know, like he was assaulting another person and it was in self-defense. Again, the video is actually horrific, actually tough. I watched it and it basically contaminated my feed. I watched it all the way through, and the way graphic, skip this part, and the way his head tilted back after the shot entered his neck, it was rough for anybody who's not accustomed to stuff like that. And I would say I've seen some things, and that's not a boasting thing. It's more of to give context as to how bad it actually was. So yeah, this is more of like a venting video to get my thoughts out there, so that they don't linger in my mind and just like move past it, because it's probably gonna take a couple days for me to remove that bad image from my mind. Ooh. Have a good day, everybody.